Well, after that presentation, I'll have to tell you my King James story. I was a social worker in Northern California working with developmentally disabled clients. And I went to see one of my clients' moms when I was in the middle of the New Age with all of my New Age occult teachings. And she was probably about 75. And we sat down and she said, "Warren, do you love God?" And I said, "Oh yeah." She said, "Tell me about him." Well, I told her about him, and she just had sort of hid this look of horror on her face. And she said, "Excuse me just 1 minute." And she went into the other room, and she came back with this big, thick, blue King James Bible from the Southwest Radio Church. And she said, "Would you take this Bible?" And I looked at it, and I thought, you know, that blue cover goes really well with my Course in Miracles books. So I took it. But that's what my wife and I had when we came across, in the midst of a lot of spiritual warfare and a lot of confusion. It was that Bible that we had. And interestingly, we loved it, but a pastor in one of the first churches we went to said, "No, you want to do the New American Standard Version." And I read it, and it's kind of like what John said, you got to make these decisions on your own, but we immediately went back to the King James. When people say, "Are you King James only?" I say, "I've really only used the King James." And I found for whatever it's worth that with a lot of the New Age stuff, the King James just skewers the deception just beautifully. And I've looked at it in other versions, and it just isn't quite the same thing. But again, you know, this is something that you have to decide.